Alright, before we begin, here's an update on this episode. So, Trump came on TV and he said that he would essentially declare martial law in the United States and he would use the military force against his own people. So, yeah. On with the show. Big news coming out of the United States. As I'm recording this, there are protests, demonstrations, and riots happening in at least 28 cities across the country. And all of this started with the institutional murder of George Floyd, who was killed by cops when he was being detained for allegedly having a counterfeit $20 bill, which does not warrant killing a person or even detaining a person. That's just fucked up. He was choked to death by one of those bad apples everyone keeps talking about, while one of those good cops watched. There's a lot to talk here. There's racism in government institutions. There's the future of these riots and what these represent. There's Western imperialism, and there's a lot to talk about how the situation relates to those of us living here in India. And this is a very stressful situation, so we'll also make fun of Priyanka Chopra and all of these celebrities who are virtue signaling. Alright, let's roll the intro.
Protests will continue, but
Looters stormed into lower Manhattan last night.
The Bruno Brothers grocery store has even been broken into.
It's still a chaotic scene here downtown.
4 police officers shot amid the protests against police brutality.
As we've seen these angry scenes multiplying.
Smoke billowed into the sky as a police car went up in flames.
This is how nations collapse, when no one in authority keeps order.
I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem.
As protesters gathered outside the White House on Friday night in Washington, President Trump was briefly taken to the White House underground bunker.
Honestly, I think the looting is completely justified. These people have been looted from by this country their entire lives.
We have plenty of structures that need burning. We asked our city officials plenty of times to take down these structures. They haven't, so we're going to do it ourselves. It's easy work. It ain't nothing to us. We built this country and we will burn it down.
This incident started protests, demonstrations, and riots in Minneapolis, but it did not stop there. This spark lit a much larger movement, a movement that has really been decades in the making. America, through tragedy, has entered what's called the cool stage of a country, in which people are just fed up and they want change. As the protests continued in Minneapolis, there were solidarity protests all across the country. People were out on the streets, they were looting stores, they were setting them on fire. And I want to stress here that majority of this destruction was not against small businesses. Gandhi Mahal, a Bangladeshi/Indian restaurant, did catch fire when the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis was burned. And Ruhel Islam, the owner, said that we grew up in a traumatic police state, so I'm familiar with this type of situation. We can rebuild a building, but we cannot rebuild a human. And he said this as he backed those protests and riots. Yes, it sucks and it would be great if this did not happen, but that's just not what the situation is. Now let's talk about big businesses. I see people on Twitter, which is every leftist's preferred information source. I see these people going, what about the Target that was burned? What about the Cheesecake Factory? Won't somebody think of the Cheesecake Factory? And I'll tell you what, they'll live. In fact, they'll make a profit. I'll defer to @respectable_law on Twitter. Target's inventory is insured by umbrella insurance policies, supported by multinational mutual funds that play high-risk speculation in foreign debt markets. Nothing of value has been lost today. Nobody is losing their job. The effect on Target's bottom line is literally zero. This situation was bound to happen. It's as Lenin said, there are decades where you fuck around and there are weeks where you find out. Even before the pandemic started, the world economy was in for a big recession. That's what the deal is with capitalism. Boom and bust cycles. There are periods of great growth and there are periods where you cannot afford food. This year, the United States was prominent in international news for a lot that happened, isn't it? The rise of a reactionary movement, the apparent start of a world war. Was that this year? Was that this year? I cannot even remember. But what I do remember is the historic rise of Bernie Sanders. In the face of these riots, it's clearer than ever. Bernie Sanders was the compromise candidate. People are tired of this unequal, racist, broken shit of a system. They're ready to tear it down and build a new one.
Beat the rich! 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 Beat the rich!
Black people, brown people, Native American people, all minorities are facing the biggest brunt in this pandemic. And not just the pandemic, but this broken system. They are at the front lines. They are the ones without the resources to protect themselves. They are the ones who have to give their lives. People call them essential workers. Companies call them heroes. But no one wants that. These words mean nothing without material action. Look at the videos of cops attacking people. They look like fucking Avengers. But doctors and frontline workers around the world do not have the required PPE. They're literally dressed in trash bags. That's how they're doing essential work. Unemployment is record high. People have no money. The cops are racist murderers. The president is a proto-fascist. And the Democrats are a bunch of neoliberals who don't give a shit and they can't do shit. There's no one who can reassure people that the system can be changed. There's no trust in reform. Here's Dr. Cornel West, who's a personal hero of mine because of how he turns his spirituality into revolutionary action, talking about this.
George, where it is so clear it is a lynching at the highest level. Nobody can deny it. And I thank God that we have people in the streets. Can you imagine this kind of lynching taking place and people are indifferent? People don't care. People are callous. You have just a few people out there with signs. I recall the moments in which during the Reagan years, there was a few of us out there. In the 60s, you had masses out there. Now you've got a younger generation of all of these different colors and genders and sexual orientations saying, we won't take it any longer. But you know what's sad about it though, brother? At the deepest level, it looks as if the system cannot reform itself. We've tried black faces in high places. Too often our black politicians, professional class, middle class, become too accommodated to the capitalist economy, too accommodated to the militarized nation state, too accommodated to the market-driven culture tied with celebrity status, power, fame, all of that superficial stuff that means so much to so many fellow citizens. And what happens? What happens is we got a neo-fascist gangster in the White House who really doesn't care for the most part. You got a neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party that is now in the driver's seat with the collapse of Brother Bernie, and they don't really know what to do because all they want is show more black faces, show more black faces. But oftentimes these black faces are losing legitimacy too, because the Black Lives Matter movement emerged under a black president, black attorney general, and black Homeland Security, and they couldn't deliver, you see? So that when you talk about the masses of black people, the precious poor and working class black people, poor and working class brown, red, yellow, whatever color, they're the ones who are left out and they feel so thoroughly powerless, helpless, hopeless, then you get rebellion. And we've reached the point now, it's a choice between non-violent revolution. And by revolution, what I mean is the democratic sharing of power, resources, wealth, and respect. If we don't get that kind of sharing, you're going to get more violent explosions. Now, the sad thing is, in this neo-fascist moment in the White House, you've got some neo-fascist brothers and sisters out there who are already armed. They show up there at the U.S. Capitol, and they don't get arrested. They don't get put down.
Well, that's
the president.
That's the extraordinary thing.
You see what I mean?
You have these white weekend warriors showing up as if they're former special forces ops when they're not. Busting into the State House, and the president praises those people, and yet everybody else is a thug to the president. He quotes, a white sheriff from the South in, I guess it was 67 or maybe 68. I mean, if you wrote that in a movie, people would say there's no way the president of the United States would quote a Southern sheriff on the night that a great city in this country is seeing, people in the streets? I mean,
that's exactly right. But keep in mind, though, brother,
also, I guess
he is being true to himself. He's being true to himself. He's saying what he really feels in his soul. You see what I mean? But see, we have to recognize too, because I know, like Tupac Shakur, I got some thug in me. I know I've got some gangster in me, and as a Christian, I got to fight it every day. What does that mean? That means we have to call people who they are. A neo-fascist thug in the White House calls my brothers and sisters in the street thugs. So then the question becomes, how do we keep alive moral, spiritual standards, keep alive, stand in contact with the humanity of all of us across the board, but recognizing we're living in a moment of massive economic, what is capitalist economy? Failure when it comes to delivering the needs. The nation state, failure to protect. Critical criminal justice system, failure to be fair, you see. And the only response we have is Samuel Beckett, my brother. Try again, fail again, fail better. Try again, fail again, fail better. Because white supremacy is going to be around for a long time. Don't get surprised if this happens again. Try again. You know the great moment in. Try again, fail better. That's the blues line of our Irish brother. But the question is, we must fight. Even in a moment in which we have a failed social experiment, we must fight, and we must have an anti-fascist coalition against what's going on in the White House Republican Party. We have to tell the truth about the milquetoast, cowardly activity too often that we see among a neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party, and we must be critical of ourselves in terms of keeping alive the highest moral and spiritual standards of Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker. And you see it at work in the soul of Brother George Floyd's family.
Dr. Cornel West, I appreciate your time tonight, and
love you, though, brother. You stay strong, man.
Thank you.
These protests and riots are unlike anything I've ever seen. I know people are tired of this word, but this is quite literally unprecedented. These are unprecedented times with the biggest economic recession in the longest time. Hundreds of thousands of lives lost due to improper handling of the pandemic. And it's the tipping point of neoliberal politics and austerity measures that have been going on for decades now. This wasn't organized by groups or individuals. This, and hopefully I'm not romanticizing this seems to be the mass movement of the oppressed. So what's next for the movement? I don't know. And I don't think these actions are meant to answer questions. A riot is the language of the unheard, as Dr. King said. And you cannot burn away a social relation. The difficult part comes after this. How do you change the system? I of course don't have any answers, but I am hopeful and excited to see what the American people decide. If only something like this happened in India. And it did, and everyone got arrested. Over the last 2 months of the lockdown, Delhi police has arrested many students from prominent universities in Delhi. And these were the students who organized and participated in the protests against the discriminatory citizenship law. Union Minister Anurag Thakur said this.
Breaking news from the national capital ahead of the Delhi elections. Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur has just been caught on camera saying at a rally in Delhi, "Desh ke gaddaron ko goli maro," or fire bullets at the traitors of the country. He also hit out at Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal, asking him if he would allow a Shaheen Bagh in his area.
Fascists burned down parts of Delhi with the help of a friendly neighborhood police. Things went pretty much as you'd expect. People got arrested, but not the people who instigated the violence. America, also known as Black Mirror's Black Mirror, has gotten support from very surprising avenues. The Amish, witches, anonymous. What do we have in India again? That's the stuff. The situation in India is then quite different from in the States. Activism, dissent, and resistance do not have as much social approval in India. And that's saying something. So what do you think happened when Black Lives Matter became a global phenomena? People in India jumped at it, of course. Now there's no harm in amplifying it, is there? But we must analyze two things here. Do they actually mean it? And are they actually doing anything to help the cause? The answer, spoiler alert, is no. Speaking up for progressive issues has been condensed into an aesthetic, which is a nice segue to talk about Priyanka Chopra, the fourth Jonas brother and India's most oppressed minority, the army brat. Side note, you guys know that you don't need to defend all of army's actions, right? They are a government institution and you are allowed to criticize them. That's what living in a democracy is. She posted a BLM photo on Instagram with a link to a petition. That's it, a fucking petition. She didn't give money to any mutual aid groups or bail funds. She wants the social capital without parting with the actual capital she has. Also calling systemic murder of black people a race war? Really? Now India has its own social hierarchy, the most complex and graded one at that, the caste system. It is ingrained into all social, economic and political life despite many reformers throughout history trying to remove it. Today, we also have a proto-fascist ideology at the center, which is against religious minority and the political left. None of these people who are posting these black boxes and taking up space on the BLM hashtag are talking about that. Conversations around caste require a little too much introspection and a little too much acknowledgement of privilege to be trendy. And isn't it just easier to tweet out a little hashtag or post an image of a black box? Taking a stand against the government really harms your economic interests. And isn't it better to talk about a country that's removed enough that people in India keep buying your movie tickets? Here's a clip of her when tensions between India and Pakistan were high and people thought that there just might be nuclear war between them, and she's shutting down a question from an audience member who's pointing out her hypocrisy between her jingoistic statements and she being a UN peace ambassador.
There you go.
Hi, Priyanka.
Hi, what's your name?
Aisha.
Hi, Aisha.
So, it was kind of hard hearing you talk about humanity because as your neighbor, a Pakistani, I know you're a bit of a hypocrite because you tweeted on February 26th, Jai Hind, hashtag Indian Armed Forces. You are a UNICEF ambassador for peace and you're encouraging nuclear war against Pakistan. There's no winner in this. As a Pakistani, millions of people like me have supported you in your business of Bollywood and you want nuclear war.
Whenever you're done venting. Got it?
That's not all. She's also praised Indira Gandhi, the Indian dictator who arrested political opponents, killed thousands of Sikhs, forcibly sterilized people across the country because he was worried about overpopulation. Truly a feminist icon.
Do you think Margaret Thatcher had girl power?
Yes, of course.
Do you think she effectively utilized girl power by funneling money to illegal paramilitary death squads in Northern Ireland?
I don't know about that.
Another side note, Thatcher and Gandhi were very close, you know, just two good friends sitting around, having tea, oblivious to the fires burning in their country that they had lit. Also, Priyanka Chopra is one of the many Indian celebrities who appear in commercials for skin lightening products. Creams that claim to make you white? Oh no, really?
अरे सुधा, ये तेरे चेहरे को क्या हुआ? हाँ? तुम्हें चाहिए 9X.
चेहरे पे रौनक लाइए सिर्फ 9 सेकंड में. फॉरेन पासपोर्ट दैट साइड मैम.
तुसी की कह रहे हो जी?
हाँ? आज ही 9X अपनाइए.
Yikes, yikes, yikes. You don't need me to tell you how fucked up that is and how it's a remnant of British colonialism and white supremacy. The world is in a period of transition right now. The pandemic has really revealed what the contradictions in society are and who the rulers are and who the workers are and what the systems of control are. Society is at crossroads right now, as it has been many times in history. Either we transition to a society based on economic and social justice, or we go back to barbarism.
See, before I draw the line, let me welcome you close to all the folks who knew Obama sold the people a hoax. Gave the money to suckers while our community's still poor. Withdrew the troops but started another war. Colonizing, terrorizing, creating the oil crisis so they can make a killing on food and gas prices. Prisons is filling, they trying to lock up the future. Militarized borders and control of computers. Want a stupid bumping music that ain't healthy for the shortest. Privatizing schools and policemen in the hallways. Can't be dormant, I'm awoken. Rise up, be ready. Brought the family with us, and we hold the machetes.
Riding the fence, riding the fence. Too many people be riding the fence. Yeah, you say you ready for war, but are you...
There are a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine tweets. I'm gonna link this one down below.